God has a plan for you, but he's not going to drag you out of bed. The plan doesn't work if you don't move. Faith without action is just fantasy. You want the life you see in your head? Start acting like you deserve it. The universe is watching your input, and it only gives to those who bleed for it. You're not stuck, you're just soft. God gave you breath. What are you doing with it? Every second you hesitate, a harder man is taking what's meant for you. Wake up, move, or get buried by the ones who do. Everyone talks about God's plan like it's some passive ticket to paradise. Like if you sit on your hands long enough, blessings will rain from the sky. That's not how this works. That's not how life rewards you. God's plan isn't some magic trick that activates while you're scrolling Instagram and eating garbage. God's plan is war. And you were born into the battlefield, whether you like it or not. He gave you a body, he gave you a brain, and he gave you the ability to choose your moves. And the truth is, most of you are disrespecting that gift by choosing nothing. You don't move. You don't build. You don't even try. Then you look up and ask, why me? I'll tell you why. Because you've surrendered to mediocrity and called it fate. The most dangerous lie is the one you tell yourself when you say, if it's meant to be, it'll happen. That phrase is the anthem of cowards. Nothing happens on its own. You happen or it doesn't. You've been given eyes to see what you want and hands to go take it, yet you wait like the world owes you a shortcut. What you don't understand is that the plan doesn't unfold for the man who waits. It reveals itself to the man who moves. You want divine purpose? You better become someone worthy of divine responsibility. God isn't sending success to someone who can't even get out of bed. He's not blessing you with abundance when you've proven you can't even handle basic discipline. Do you really think he'll drop greatness into the lap of someone who can't manage 24 hours to drift through without self-sabotage? You were built to carve through it like a sword, but a sword needs sharpening. A blade that never faces resistance will never be strong. The pain you feel now, that's part of the process. The doubts, the setbacks, the lonely nights where it feels like the world's forgotten you, all of it is part of the molding. You don't become the man you're meant to be by chasing comfort. You become him by enduring, by persisting when your mind screams for you to quit, by standing tall when everything inside you says fall. God didn't design you to beg for miracles. He didn't design you to be one, but miracles don't appear to the weak-hearted. They manifest in the life of the one who refuses to break. Stop waiting for a sign. You already have one. You're still alive. You woke up today and you've been given one more shot to prove you deserve what you desire. And that's not luck. That's divine grace. And you're wasting it every time you hit snooze. You want to talk about belief? Belief is not repeating mantras. Belief is action. Belief is discipline. Belief is moving even when you're unsure, because your soul screams that this life wasn't meant to be wasted in regret. You sit there dreaming of a better life, imagining yourself richer, stronger, respected. You see yourself in that car, in that house, on that stage. Good. That's the start. But if that vision never leaves your head and makes into your reality, then it's just a fantasy. You'll mourn on your deathbed. The universe is a mirror. It doesn't reward wishes. It reflects effort. If your input is laziness, excuses, and distraction, then that's exactly what your life will echo back. But if you wake up and start moving with power, if your actions scream hunger, resilience, and intention, then doors will open that you didn't even know existed. People will call it luck, but it's not. It's alignment. It's when your mindset, your behavior, and your spirit all point in one direction. Forward! That's when everything starts to shift. Only if you have the balls to start. No more praying for change while doing nothing. No more waiting for blessings when you're not even worthy of the ones you've already got. You think struggle means God's ignoring you? No, that's proof he's preparing you. Comfort kills kings. Struggle makes them. The man you want to be is real. He exists, but he's locked behind the door of your habits, your laziness, your fear. And the key is suffering. The key is showing up when it's hard. Doing the work when you're broken, rising when you've fallen 1,000 times. There's beauty in the fight. There's meaning in the pain. Every scar you earn is a signature that you refuse to quit. Every tear, every drop of sweat, every time you chose discipline over distraction, that's your soul reminding the universe, I'm not here to survive, I'm here to conquer. You weren't built for silence. You weren't built for comfort. You were built to create, to rise, to lead. So no more passive prayers without power. Pray, yes, believe, absolutely, but then get up and move like your future depends on it, because it does. The world doesn't owe you understanding. God already gave you everything you need, a body, a brain, a burning desire. If you don't use them, if you don't become the storm, then you'll be crushed by one. And that's not destiny, that's your decision. I remember sitting alone in a freezing room, floor concrete, ambition loud, but the world completely silent. No one cared, no messages, no support, no spotlight, just me and the weight of everything I hadn't become yet. That was the moment I realized something most men never grasp. Nobody is coming to fix your life. Not your family, not your friends, not some divine force dropping blessings into your lap. The battle was mine, the pain mine, the decisions mine, and most importantly, the future was mine if I had the balls to claim it. Back then, I wasn't some motivational icon. I wasn't strong. I wasn't rich. I wasn't known. I was just a man with this burning vision that wouldn't leave me alone. I saw a life in my head, power, purpose, total control. I saw myself walking through cities with presence. I saw people respecting me. I saw abundance, and yet every time I looked at the reflection in the mirror, it mocked me. I wasn't him, not yet, but I refused to settle. That fire inside of me said, you either become him or you die trying. And that wasn't poetry, that was survival. Because staying the same felt worse than death. But nights I couldn't sleep, not because of fear, but because my future haunted me. I could feel it, taste it. I knew I was meant for more. That's the curse of having vision. When you know where you're supposed to be, your current life feels like prison. You wake up disgusted with yourself. You look around and hate what you see. Not because you're ungrateful, but because you know it's beneath what you're capable of. And in that pressure, I didn't run. I didn't escape. I used it. That frustration became fuel. That rage became clarity. I didn't cry. I calculated. Every emotion I felt, I turned it into firepower. People think success starts with strategy. It doesn't. It starts with desperation. The kind that punches you in the soul when you realize no one's coming to save you. That's when you evolve. That's when you stop waiting for the universe to hand you what you want and start taking it. I wasn't special. I was just done living a life I didn't respect. And that's the only switch that matters. When you're finally sick enough of your own mediocrity, your potential grabs the wheel. You have to hit that breaking point. You have to stare at your circumstances and declare with everything in your spirit, this ends now. There's a time I had no money, no status, no influence, but I had time and I weaponized it. While others slept, I studied. While others partied, I trained. While others doubted, I executed. Every single day was a war against the weaker version of myself, and I lost many battles. I slipped, I stumbled, but I never stopped pushing. Because deep down, I knew that effort compounds. Every small step matters. Even when no one sees you, even when no one applauds, even when it looks like nothing is working, that's when real growth happens. In the dark, when your grind is invisible and your progress is internal. I never had a mentor. I didn't have some motivational guru feeding me quotes. What I had was pain, and I used it as instruction. The world tried to bury me, and I turned it into resistance training. You see, that's what separates the winners from the spectators. We don't let life defeat us. We bend it. We reshape it. We grab fate by the throat and force it to submit. Because the truth is, the universe is ruthless to the passive and generous to... It watches how you move and it mirrors that energy. Sit back and it ignores you. Step forward with power and it shifts in your favor. There's this moment, and it comes for every man chasing greatness. The moment where everything is falling apart and you feel like quitting would be easier. I had that moment multiple times. But I always remembered one thing. Quitting guarantees the failure you fear. At least if you keep going, there's a chance. There's a possibility that the life you imagine could become real. So I walked through storms. I endured betrayal, confusion, heartbreak, exhaustion, and I kept my mouth shut and my fist clenched. I moved in silence until the noise of my success became too loud to ignore. I tell you all this not to impress you, but to show you what's possible. Because the version of me you see now, strong, confident, dangerous, that version was sculpted, not gifted. I made him through pain, through persistence, through endless repetition of discipline. And that's the secret no one wants to hear. The man you envy, the man you respect, the man you dream of being, he's already inside you, waiting for you to shut up, stand up, and act like you deserve to meet him. This isn't about motivation. This is about transformation. I transformed not because I had options, but because I burned the bridge back to comfort. And once you commit like that, once you make growth the only option, life responds. Suddenly the universe doesn't ignore you. Suddenly God's plan starts to activate, not because he changed, but because you did. That's when you stop being the victim of your life and start being the architect of it. That's when you realize you're not here to observe, you're here to dominate. Let me tell you the most terrifying truth you'll ever face. You don't get another shot at this. This life you're living right now, this hour, this moment, it's burning. And once it's gone, it's not coming back. You've got this illusion in your head that you have time, you walk around like you've got years to get serious, but time isn't your friend. It's the coldest enemy you'll ever face. It doesn't slow down garbage. It doesn't care about your excuses. It doesn't wait until you feel ready. Every second you spend hesitating is another second your potential slips through your fingers. And you don't even feel it until it's too late. You think the scariest thing in life is failure? No. The real horror is waking up one day in a body that's aged, with a heart full of regret and a mind screaming for a second chance you'll never get. The fear isn't losing. The fear is never playing the game. You'll blink and a decade will vanish. You'll look around and realize you never became the man you saw in your dreams. And at that point, you'll feel a pain deeper than poverty or heartbreak, the pain of wasted potential. That pain doesn't go away. It eats at your soul every time you look in the mirror. You think you've got time to delay the discipline, to postpone the grind? You don't. Someone out there is starving for what you're sleeping on. Right now, there's a man waking up at 4 a.m., running through hell, reading, building, bleeding, and he's doing it while you're still hitting snooze. The world doesn't reward intentions. It doesn't care about your plans. It pays the ones who move. You think you can coast and then catch up later? It's wrong. Every day you stall, the gap grows. Every moment you stay still, someone else claims the life you said you wanted. There's a version of you out there, stronger, sharper, wealthier, respected. That version is real. He exists in another timeline where you made different choices. A timeline where you stopped escaping and started engaging. And the more you stall, the further he drifts from you. The longer you delay, the more that version of you becomes a stranger you'll never meet. That's the hell most men live in. Watching the life they were meant to live get snatched by the man they refused to become. You don't need a wake-up call. You are the wake-up call. If you don't act, no one's coming. If you don't evolve, the world will bury you under the weight of your own wasted days. That's not a threat. It's good, a guarantee. Life is a system of output. Input nothing, receive nothing. Dream all you want. If your hands aren't moving, your life won't either. And the worst part, you'll still pretend you're grinding. You'll still convince yourself you're on your path. But deep down, you'll know you could have done more. And that truth will haunt you louder than any failure ever could. Fear is useful. Use it. Fear of being broke. Fear of being forgotten. Fear of living a story not worth remembering. Those fears should electrify your spine and shake you into motion. But instead, you numb them. You drown them in distractions, in comfort, in lies that keep you sedated. You weren't born to be numb. You were born to burn. Burn with purpose. Burn with rage at the idea of mediocrity. Burn with urgency, because the clock doesn't care if you're confused or tired or uninspired. It keeps ticking, and you either rise with it or fall behind, unseen and unspoken. You keep thinking tomorrow will be easier. It won't. Life doesn't reward delay. It punishes it. You will lose opportunities simply because you didn't strike when it was time. The girl, the business, the moment. They won't wait forever. You think the universe will hold your spot? It won't. It gives that seat to the man who shows up, not the one still wondering if he's ready. Read that again. The world belongs to those who move. You want clarity? Take action. You want purpose? Start. Everything you're waiting to understand only becomes clear once you're knee-deep in the fire. You scroll and consume content thinking it's progress. It's not. Information without application is a drug. It makes you feel productive while you rot in place. You don't need more motivation. You need movement. You need to become a threat to your former self, to your past habits, to everything that held you back. You need to wake up and declare war on the version of you who settles, who tolerates weakness, who accepts good enough. That version of you needs to be crushed under the weight of new decisions, the kind that make people uncomfortable, the kind that demand evolution. Understand this. The window you have to become exceptional is closing. Youth doesn't wait. Health doesn't last. Momentum dies in hesitation. And soon, the pain of discipline will feel like a gift compared to the pain of regret. Regret is the most expensive price a man can pay, and there's no refund. You think you're safe playing it slow, playing it small. You're not safe. You're dying in disguise, slowly. silently. And when the lights go out, all there'll be left is the man you could have been, staring back at you in the dark. But here's the other side, the hope, the power. The reason you're reading this right now, it means there's still time. You're still breathing. The fire hasn't gone out. It's dimmed, yes, but it's waiting for you to pour fuel on it. You can still become the man who scares his past. You can still catch up, not because you're fast, but because now you're relentless. You can still earn the life you keep imagining if you move now. If you stop thinking, stop doubting, and start striking, not tomorrow, not soon, now. There's a version of you that's unstoppable, but you haven't met him yet, because every time life gets hard, you fold. You call it burnout, you call it anxiety, you call it needing a break. No, what it really is surrender. You've confused discomfort for danger. You've mistaken difficulty for impossibility. You've convinced yourself that struggle is a signal to stop. But struggle is the prerequisite of transformation. You don't get stronger in ease. You don't evolve when it's convenient. You become something terrifying when the world's throwing punches and you decide to swing back harder. You keep saying you're waiting for motivation. That's your weakness talking. That's the voice of a man who doesn't understand that discipline is loyalty to your future, not your feelings. If you only move when you feel good, you've already lost. The world isn't going to bow because you're tired. Your goals aren't going to lower their standards to meet your laziness. Everything you want is locked behind a door that only opens for consistent violence. Day in, day out, no emotion, just execution. You want respect? Build it brick by brick with work no one sees. You want wealth? Earn it with decisions that hurt now but pay forever. You want a name that echoes? Then you better outlast every man who thought it was too hard, too far, too late. Because legacy doesn't come from potential, it comes from pain. It's carved in sacrifice, it's built in solitude, it's earned in silence. While others are busy making noise, that disappears with the wind. The life you crave is watching you. It's watching your actions, not your intentions, not your affirmations, not your Pinterest board. It's watching how you show up when you're sick, when you're broke, when you're doubting yourself. It's watching what you do when no one's clapping, when no one's liking, when no one believes. That's where legends are made, in the dark, in the repetition, in the days that feel pointless but are laying bricks for the future you can't afford to miss. You keep fantasizing about the finish line, but the finish line isn't the point. The grind is, the war is, the daily battles are where you become who you're meant to be. And once you start winning, it doesn't get easier. It gets heavier. The price of greatness is higher than you think. It's not paid in bursts. It's paid in blood, in time, in obsession. You've got to fall in love with the boredom. You got to embrace the isolation, because the man who trains when it's boring, when it's cold, when it's hopeless, he's the man who gets crowned. The truth is, you're not running out of time. You're running out of excuses. You've had years to level up, and every time you took the easier road, that's over now. The next version of you will only be born if this current version finally dies. That means the weakness goes, the doubt goes, the soft habits go. You don't evolve by carrying them forward. You evolve by burning them in the fire of new decisions, one by one, every single day. And you better believe the world is watching, whether it's your brother, your girl, your friends, or your future son. Someone is studying your standard. You think you're just trying to survive? No, you're building a blueprint. Every action you take is permission for someone else to do the same. You slack, they'll think that's okay. You rise, they'll believe it's possible. Your life is a message, and the question is, does that message scream power or pity? This isn't about being perfect. It's about being powerful. You don't have to be the smartest, the strongest, or the richest, but you better be the most disciplined. You better be the one who outlasts, who outbleeds, who shows up when it makes no sense. Because eventually the world breaks every man, but the ones who build themselves daily don't shatter. They rise. They reload. They return stronger, and they collect what's theirs while others crumble. You don't need a miracle. You don't need luck. You need to wake up, move with intention, and repeat until the world bends. That's the formula. Simple, not easy, but always effective. You don't chase greatness. You become too undeniable to ignore. You want the universe to reward you? Then show it you're serious. Move like a man who deserves what he dreams about. Talk like it's already yours. Work like losing is impossible. Carry yourself like the throne's already built, and the world will give you the crown to match your walk. Enough thinking, enough waiting, enough pretending like you've got more time. You don't. The clock's been ticking since the day you were born, and every second you spend sitting in hesitation is a second stolen from the man you could have become. You talk about purpose, about vision, about wanting more, but none of that means a thing unless your actions scream louder than your thoughts. The world doesn't respond to what's in your head. It responds to what you do. Movement is the only truth. Motion is the only proof. If you're not acting, you're dying. And every man who's not moving forward is already decaying in slow motion, dressed in comfort, buried under his own excuses. The universe isn't holding anything back. It's responding in perfect alignment to your level of seriousness. You wake up late, scroll, overeat, whine, and wait for motivation? The universe will hand you stagnation on a silver plate, but when you rise with purpose, when your feet hit the ground like they've got a mission to fulfill, when your presence commands the air, the entire world begins to reorganize itself to fit your intensity. It's not magic, it's mechanics. It's input versus output. You give half effort, you get half results. You give everything, even when it's hard, and eventually reality has no choice but to bend. This isn't religion. This is not philosophy. This is survival. You think God is sitting there rewarding the weak, the passive, the man who prays without pushing? No. God's plan is power, but you have to match it with action. You're not here to wait for signs. You are the sign. The breath in your lungs, the blood in your veins, the mind that can dream, and the body that can execute. That's divine permission to go full throttle, to build, to grind, to conquer. Faith without action is fantasy. God's plan needs a soldier, not a spectator. You got to carry the flame and march through hell with your chest out and your fist clenched. That's worship. That's obedience. That's purpose. You're waiting for the perfect day, waiting for clarity, waiting for someone to push you. Let me be very clear. No one is coming. No mentor, no savior, no second chance. You are the moment. You are the movement. If you don't move now, the opportunity will rot in front of you, and all you'll be left with is memories of what could have been. Regret doesn't arrive as a scream. It whispers at night. When the world is quiet and your mind plays back the moments, you chose comfort instead of courage. You do not want to be that man. The man haunted by chances he let die, because at that point, motivation won't matter. You'll be broken. This is your wake-up call. This is your fork in the road. Either you walk into your future like a savage, bold, and unbreakable, or you go back to the pit of distraction and delusion. There is no in-between. The war is either won or lost every morning you wake up. It's decided in the hours where no one's watching. You either build your legacy with obsession, or you bury it with laziness. One choice every day, over and over, until the results are so undeniable that the world has no option but to kneel before your discipline. And if you're hearing this and you feel something, that's not emotion. That's your soul remembering what it's capable of. That's your spirit calling you to rise. That's your DNA echoing with the power of kings. Because you were never meant to be average. You were never designed to play small. You've got the power to build, to dominate, to lead. But none of that activates unless you step up. You have to flip the switch from someday to now, from thinking to doing, from comfort to combat. So today you make a vow, not to me, not to the world, to yourself. You swear that from this moment forward, no version of you will be tolerated except the one that acts like his life is on the line, because it is. You kill procrastination. You strangle distraction. You crush comfort beneath your ambition. You become the kind of man who walks into every room and owns it, not because he says he's powerful, but because his consistency proves it. And when it gets hard, and it will, you don't stop. You don't cry. You don't collapse. You rise. You remind yourself that real men don't run from pressure. They use it as fuel. You keep showing up until the voice in your head gets tired of doubting you and starts to believe. And when the results come, and they will, you won't be surprised. You'll nod. Because deep down you'll know, I earned this. I bled for this. I became this. And now shut this off and move.